Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to my subscribers lesson about IELTS exam. Today is Saturday and our local time is 7:58 a.m., which is the UK time. Once again, dear viewers, as you know that through these classes and lessons, I try to give you as much as information for your IELTS exam and mostly how you can get good score in all the section listening, reading, writing and speaking. And also it is important for being an English learner that we must practice every day. The best British teacher or the American teacher can give you a lesson, but at the end of the day it's you who have to practice a lot. Bear in mind that practice is the magic word. The more you practice, the more you will be confident, and your level of speaking, your quality of speaking will be improved. There is no doubt. So once again, guys, if you're interested to join, just hit on the sign up button or join freely for two trial lessons, or you can join monthly lesson, which is only $16. And there is an offer. I don't know if the offer is still valid or not. You will get 30% discount. Use this promotional code. Okay. So remember, once again, dear viewers, it is important to follow those techniques if you want to get good score. Okay, so let me share the screen and then I'll go you know I'll go from there to explain each and every piece of information. Okay, so let's move on, but I have to wait a little bit because uh, my subscribers might be joining me soon. Wait a while. Okay, guys, so let's move on to the video section first before we go for the next step. All right, so we'll start with the listening part, as you know, the first part of the IELTS exam. So in both academic and general test, listening part is the first part where a record would be played for you just once in 30 minutes and you have to answer all of them. Please, dear candidates, make sure you answer all of the question even if you don't know the correct answer and if you're not sure of it. The reason for asking this because there is no negative marking for the wrong answer in IELTS exam. So it will be better for you to answer all of them. Okay, if you skip or if you miss one or two questions, make sure you answer it at the end when the exam is nearly finished. Okay, so let's move on with our first step, the listening techniques, improve your English and prepare for IELTS exam. This video has been brought by the British Council UK for all the IELTS learners and candidates around the world. Please listen to it carefully.
So you've decided to take the IELTS exam. Great choice. It's the test that's tried and trusted throughout the world. The IELTS listening test is designed to assess your ability to understand spoken English. The listening test is the same regardless of whether you're taking the IELTS academic or general training module. These are key details of the IELTS listening test. The paper includes 40 questions spread over 4 sections in 30 minutes. The sections get more difficult as you progress through the test. You will only hear each passage once. It's vital you follow the instructions. For instance, if the question says, write no more than 3 words, any answer with 4 words or more is automatically marked wrong. At the end of the listening, you have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Write your answers carefully. Spelling is important. Capitalization, however, is not. There are no penalties for wrong answers, so attempt all the questions, even if you're not sure of the answer. Here are some tips to help you prepare for the test. You are given time to read the questions ahead of the listening. It's vital you analyze the questions here. Look for key words in the question, usually the nouns or verbs. Underline or circle them. Make sure you know the type of answers needed. For instance, is it a name, a telephone number, an adjective? Try to predict as much as you can before you listen. Ask yourself, what is the situation? What is the topic? Who might be speaking? What might be the answers? Synonyms are important. There is often a word in a question and a different word with a similar meaning in the listening. Expect tricks. The speaker may try to confuse you. For example, they may give an answer and then change their decision. Also, be wary of negatives. Speakers might sometimes slip the word not into a sentence. Don't choose an answer just because you hear specific words. Consider the overall meaning carefully. Changes in the tone of voice can indicate this. For example, excitement or disappointment. Always have the next question in mind. It's easy to miss several answers if all of your focus is on one question. It's important to practice listening to a range of resources that might include television, films, radio, lectures, or online videos. Aim for a variety of sources of spoken English, particularly different accents. There is no substitute for practice. For more information on IELTS, please see our other videos on speaking, writing, and reading.
Okay, guys, so this explanation and the video is very clear and simple. So it will be just played once, all right? So you have to focus on the questions, like what kind of question it is. And from the question pattern, you might be able to guess about the highlighted point what they're going to ask. It could be a person, it could be a place, it could be a date, it could be a year, or it could be an adjective, or it could be something else. As the video has explained, that when you are on the exam, please try to listen carefully, because sometimes they use negative sentence to change the thought, or sometimes they use coordinating adjectives like but. For example, I wanted to go there, but I changed my mind at the last moment. That means that the person didn't go there. Similarly, in IELTS exam, there is also sometimes basic maths is required. So people very often ask me how they ask the basic question. Questions like this, like we expected 200 people in the party, but only half of them came. So as you can see, half of the 200 is 100 people came. So the answer is 100. Likewise, another question could be like this, that 7 o'clock train would be half an hour late. As you can see, uh, if the train is late half an hour, the train is coming obviously 7:30. This is another important information for the IELTS candidate to understand and listen and determine and assess your answer. Okay, so please make sure you listen to the question carefully, as there is no negative marking for answers. So even if you miss or skip one or two questions, always go back there and answer it according to your own understanding. And also in IELTS speaking part, as just sorry, listening part, you'll be given 10 minutes extra to transfer your score from the question paper to the answer sheet. And remember to follow the sequence correctly, because if you miss one sequence, then all of your questions will be wrong and you're not going to get good marks. And in order to practice more, there are many websites through which you can practice the listening or mock test or sample test. Just search it on the Google. You'll be able to find it many websites. And sit for the mock test, which will help you building up your confidence level as well as your understanding, comprehensive capacity, and also wider ranges of your understandable capacity. Okay, guys, so that is the first part, listening, and after listening straight away, the next part comes is reading. So let's find out the reading part.
So, you've decided to take the IELTS exam. Great choice. It's the test that opens doors around the world. These are the key details of the IELTS reading test. The test includes 40 questions spread over 3 articles. You have a total of 60 minutes for the reading test. Unlike the IELTS listening, there is no additional time to transfer answers, so write these directly onto your answer sheet as you proceed through the test. Read the instructions very carefully. Be familiar with the different question types. Here's some advice to prepare for the reading test. Practice reading skills, such as skimming. Skimming means looking over an article or paragraph to identify the key themes or general ideas. This includes paying attention to titles, subtitles, keywords, and topic sentences. Scanning. Scanning is when you are looking for specific information, perhaps a number, or a name, or a date. If you know the specific type of answer you need to find, you don't need to read every word in the article. For example, if you know you need to find out how much money something costs, run your eyes quickly down the article, looking for a number with a currency indicator. Then decide if this is referring to what you were looking for. Skimming provides a bird's eye view of some material. Scanning helps you swoop down to locate the specific details you need. Another key skill is intensive reading. This helps you to understand the details in an article. When you practice reading tests, don't read an article intensively to start with. This is a common mistake. First, skim the article quickly. Get a sense for what the subject of the article is and look at the title, any headings or diagrams. Read the first sentence of each paragraph to determine the theme of each paragraph. Make notes around the article as you do this. Then, read with specific purpose. Read the questions and be clear what you are looking for. Once you have skimmed and scanned, you are prepared to analyze the questions carefully, circling keywords and thinking of synonyms for those keywords. Don't expect to find the exact same words in the article. Then, use your scanning and skimming skills to home in on the right paragraph in the article. Here, you'll need to read in detail to find the specific answer to each question. To improve your reading skills, read as much as you can. Anything you read in English is good practice, and the more variety, the better. There are no shortcuts or secret techniques. You will only improve with time, practice, and persistence. For more information on Ielts, please see our other videos on speaking, writing, and listening.
Okay, so for the reading part, I'm sure you have understood three special techniques: scanning, skimming, or intensive reading. Sometimes it is called conventional technique. So the conventional technique is, if there are 20 questions, for example, that, as you might be aware, there are three different parts of comprehension and 40 questions in reading part, and you will be given an hour. So in this case, you have to answer directly to your answer sheet. Like listening section, there is no other action times for that. So we better focus on transferring or recording your answer and answer sheet directly. And as as you can see from the explanation or from the video, there are three ways you can always develop your reading part. The number one is scanning. So have a look quickly, and skimming, and also intensive reading. I'm sure more or less you guys are aware of it. Just follow these techniques when you are sitting for the reading part. Remember, the more you read, the more you'll be confident. And also, do not expect that you're going to know all the vocabulary in the reading part, because sometimes there will be some new words or new vocabulary. But depending on the content or context, you'll be able to get the meaning and how it is related to the paragraph. So the techniques are, once again, read as much as possible, read different kinds of topics, varieties of topics. Okay, so that is the part two, and then is writing. In writing, as you might be aware, there are four parts that is scored: task response or task achievement, 25%; vocabulary, 25%; grammar, 25%; and coherence and cohesions, another 25%. So we'll go all the videos one by one, starting from coherence and cohesions. And also we have to remember, when you're writing, you must follow grammar, you must follow formal words, you must follow the techniques of three parts: introduction, body, and conclusions, which I've explained many times, but let us listen to the video first. In my next class, we will be repeating those explanations one more time.
So you have decided to take the IELTS exam. Congratulations. Success starts with IELTS. Here we look at the criteria of coherence and cohesion. This is one of 4 criteria on which your writing will be assessed. Look for our other 3 criteria videos. Coherence refers to the flow of your writing. Your ideas should be logically organized and appropriately sequenced into paragraphs so they are easy to understand and follow. Cohesion refers to linking words that help you connect ideas and show the relationship between paragraphs, sentences, or parts of sentences. So this criteria looks at how a writing test answer is organized and how to link information and ideas. Here is one simple way to sequence ideas for effective coherence for this Task 2 essay. For example, the threat of nuclear weapons maintains world peace. Nuclear power provides cheap and clean energy. The benefits of nuclear technology far outweigh the disadvantages. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Introduction. Paraphrase question and include your opinion. Body paragraphs. Arguments for nuclear technology. Body paragraphs. Against nuclear technology. Conclusion. Paraphrase your opinion. Plan your essay like this before you start writing. It's important to use paragraphs. These give structure to a piece of writing. Think of paragraphs as a signpost, telling whoever reads your work where your ideas are going and when you are moving onto a different point. Since paragraphs are used to explain your argument in stages, express one idea or set of ideas in each paragraph. A good way to start a paragraph is with a short, simple sentence that introduces the main idea of the paragraph. Teachers often call this a topic sentence. In the remainder of the paragraph, provide explanations, evidence, examples, or personal experiences to build on and extend that idea. Connect and show the relationship between your paragraphs and sentences by using a wide range of linking words or phrases appropriately. See our accompanying download for different examples. They are usually these types: introducing ideas, adding similar ideas, contrasting ideas, giving examples or evidence, explaining results, sequencing, providing explanations, sharing your experience, drawing conclusions, introducing your opinions. Linking can be done in a variety of other ways. For instance, through referencing by using pronouns. Firstly, I'm very happy to receive this award. Additionally, I would like to thank my colleagues. Without them, I wouldn't be standing here accepting this. And also using substitution. Famous people deserve a private life, but celebrities also sell newspapers. As you practice writing essays, review your writing and circle the different linking devices. Then, think about how you could use different words to avoid repetition. Don't overuse linking words or phrases, however. This becomes irritating for the reader. The key in using linking words is appropriacy. Ask yourself, is this necessary and does it match the content that follows? For more information, please see our other writing test videos: task achievement, lexical resources, and grammatical range and accuracy.
Okay, guys, so that is the writing techniques which has been described: introduction, body, and conclusion, and follow the procedures as it's a techniques that they've explained. I'll explain more in my next classes. So today we're going to listen to the videos. So next part of the writing is vocabulary.
So you have decided to take the Ielts exam. Great choice. It's the test that opens doors around the world. Here we look at the criteria of lexical resource. This is one of 4 criteria on which you will be tested. Look for the other 3 criteria in other videos. This criteria focuses on the range and accuracy of the vocabulary used in your writing. Here are a few tips to improve your vocabulary. Number 1. When you are learning English vocabulary, learn synonyms. This helps you to avoid repeating the same word. For example, learn different ways of describing changes or trends for Task 1 answers. For both Task 1 and Task 2 answers, try not to use too many words from the exam question in your response. Again, using synonyms can help you to reflect the same meaning. When analyzing your Task 2 exam question, you can brainstorm synonyms for the key words in the question and use these throughout your essay answer. Alternative forms of transport should be encouraged and international laws introduced to control car ownership and use. 2. Also, when you are learning vocabulary, don't learn one word at a time, learn word combinations or collocation. Remember the way words are used together and avoid typical mistakes such as, he was guilty of making a crime, he was guilty of committing a crime. 3. English words are often part of families. For instance, nowadays every economical is struggling. Nowadays every economic is struggling. Nowadays every economics is struggling. Nowadays every economy is struggling. When writing, use the correct word formation for the context. 4. Always leave time at end of the test to check your writing for errors and add in a wider range of language. Be sure you use less common vocabulary correctly. You are not trying to impress the examiner with your vocabulary. You are not being assessed on the creativity or the correctness of your ideas. You are demonstrating your ability to express and develop ideas precisely and effectively. For more information, please see the writing test videos, task achievement, coherence and cohesion, and grammatical range and accuracy.
All right, so this part has explained how to use the vocab in different ways. So when we are learning word or vocabulary, guys, as you can see, it has been explained, we should learn the different kinds of synonyms or word family. From one word, how we can make like a noun or adjective or verb or adverb or gerund or any other form of the verb, and that can be used in a writing. It is very important for us being an English learner and IELTS candidate. We should know how to write it correctly, guys. Bear in mind that when you know your word and if you don't know how to use them, there is then no point of learning the new word because you don't know how to use them correctly. So it is very important for you being an IELTS learner, an IELTS candidate. You should know these basic things. Okay, and next one is uh, we have covered task response. No, sorry, I should have explained it task response first.
So, you've decided to take the IELTS exam. Good for you. It's the test for study, work, and life. The IELTS test is divided into two tasks. The first task differs depending on the module you are taking. There are two IELTS modules. The IELTS academic module is generally taken by anyone intending to pursue higher education studies in an English-speaking institute or country. The IELTS general training module is generally taken for immigration or employment purposes. Here, we look at the criteria of task response for writing task 1 and task achievement for writing task 2. These represent one of 4 criteria on which you will be tested. Look for the other 3 criteria in other videos. These criteria focus on the degree to which the exam question has been answered properly. In the academic module, there is a writing task of at least 150 words where you should summarize, describe, or explain a table, graph, or diagram. You might be expected to make comparisons too. Successfully negotiating this academic task 1 means you will need to identify all the key features in the diagram. You might lose marks if important details are left out. Provide sufficient detail for a meaningful explanation, not too much detail, not too little. Ensure accuracy when referring to data or describing trends or processes. It's important to write a clear overview. This means summarizing the most significant trends or features from the data or information in the diagram. This is not simply an introduction to the topic. That's a common mistake. Here's an example of identifying significant trends. Looking at this graph, we would say, from the graph it is apparent that participation of both men and women in full-time employment has increased over this time period. However, while the numbers of women are generally increasing, the numbers of men in part-time employment are fluctuating. In a question requesting a process description, the overview might identify the key stages in the process. For instance, how many stages there are and what each are, briefly. In the general training module, there is a letter writing task of at least 150 words. In this task, explain the reason for the letter. Include all the points mentioned in the question, and use a consistent and appropriate tone. In both modules, Task 2 is a short essay task of at least 250 words. You are expected to present your opinion on a specific topic, supporting your ideas with evidence. Task 2 contributes more to your overall writing mark than Task 1. To master Task 2, you will need to respond completely to all parts of the question. Develop and support your ideas. Don't just mention them in a single sentence and move on to the next idea. Add explanations, examples, or experience. Ensure your opinion is clear in your answer. Make sure you underline key words in the exam question. Identify how many parts there are to the question, and make sure you do everything you are asked to do. Before you write, plan your ideas, though keep them relevant, then group and sequence them. Spending 2 to 3 minutes doing this can save you time when you are writing. Follow the recommended timings for each task and minimum word counts. For more information, please see the other writing test videos, Coherence and Cohesion, Lexical Resource, and Grammatical Range and Accuracy.
Okay, so the next part would be, we have explained, the video has explained coherence and cohesions, task response, vocabs, now grammar.
So you've decided to take the Ielts exam. Well done. Our expertise is your opportunity. Here we look at the criteria of grammatical range and accuracy. This is criteria on which you will be tested. Look for the other 3 criteria in other videos.
Hello, welcome.
This criteria focuses on the range and accuracy of the grammar demonstrated by the test taker.
I've invited you,
For
Fahad.
grammatical range, consider whether what you are describing is something that happened in the past. Use past tenses. Is happening in the present. Use similar present tenses. Or is predicting the future. Use a variety of future tenses. Sometimes you can use a combination of these different tenses. For example, when analyzing an Ielts Task 1 diagram, note the time period being described and use the matching tenses when describing the information. Demonstrating a range of written grammar might also mean using some of these tenses: comparatives, conditionals, modal verbs, and the passive tense, especially for Task 1 process descriptions. Look for our speaking and grammar download for examples of all these tenses. It's important to learn and practice a variety of grammatical tenses. In all writing tasks, also use a variety of complex structures. Complex structures are sentences with multiple bits of information. A simple sentence usually has a single piece of information. When you practice writing, transform simple sentences into more complex sentences by adding more information to the sentence. For example, ask yourself some WH questions to see what else you can add to the original sentence. For instance, these days everyone has a mobile phone. Think to yourself, who, what, why? These days, people of all generations have mobile phones, especially smartphones, because you can do so many things with them. In your writing, there should be a balance of simple and complex sentences. In addition, punctuation can change meaning. For instance, we got in through the window which someone had left open. We got in through the window which someone had left open. Students aren't expected to be 100% accurate in their writing. However, control is important. Some grammatical errors impact communication more than others. You will be scored according to the impact of errors on communication rather than on the number of mistakes. Leave time at the end of writing to identify and correct errors. You will always find grammar or spelling mistakes. Correcting these can improve your score. See the grammar checklist in the accompanying download. For more information, please see the other writing test videos: Coherence and Cohesion, Lexical Resource, and Grammatical Range and Accuracy.
So, all right, guys, so that is the grammar part, and they have mentioned few things, if you have ever noticed. Fahad, welcome, and thanks for the subscription. I understand you're newbie, but if you don't speak, then there is no way you can develop. Remember that. To develop your speaking, to become a good speaker, you have to speak. That is the rule number one. Regardless the vocab, grammar, or knowledge, whatever you have, you must speak. You must speak. You must find a speaking partner and talk to the person. Otherwise, you'll not be able to improve, I'm afraid. Okay. So, as a part of the explanation of the grammar, I'm sure you may have noticed when you're writing grammar, you have to use comparatives, conditionals, modal verbs, and other grammar structure, especially compound and complex sentences wherever possible. These are the four important features in writing which will bring value of your writing and also good marks. Remember, they have mentioned another important matter that sometimes the impact of a writing will assess the marks. It's not how many mistakes have you done, because some mistakes are acceptable even in the written part, but in my suggestion, do not make any kinds of mistakes, especially spelling, punctuation, and all the grammatical rules if you want to get good marks, especially if your target is more than 6 in writing. They will definitely evaluate all this information. Okay, so once again, guys, practice is the key factor. Practice every day and write your topic or essay and get checked by a qualified and competent teacher. And for all my subscribers, I always ask them writing to me by email so that I can check, assess, and give you the feedback. All right, and it happened. Many of my learners have sent me their writings. I've just assessed them and I've given them the feedback. That is very important to know where are your flaws. Okay. So this is one of the another ways of written part. So let's move on to the next video. Fahad says, yes, it is true, but it takes a little time. Everything takes time, Fahad. Your writing is, I can see that, but if you speak in the same way you're writing, your speaking would be amazing. So I suggest if you have time, please speak to me. If you don't speak, then there is no way you can develop. And please bear in mind that subscribe to my lesson to talk to me, not only writing in the comment section. Okay, if you don't want to talk, that's after you, but you're going to lose your opportunity. And I also believe that you have subscribed to this lesson on a trial basis. Let me find out, which means that today is the first lesson for you. If you don't join today, you're losing one class. You'll be getting another class next week, Saturday. And if I go live broadcast in the meantime, you can always join me. Okay, but try to take the advantage of being a subscriber. The more you speak, the more you'll be confident and your quality of speaking will be upgrading. And that is the information for you, Fahad, and all the people who are listening to me silently. Okay, the next part is that we've covered coherence and cohesions, task response vocab. Task 1, tips and advice. Okay, so you might be aware in IELTS exam, in written part, there is task 1 where you have to write 150 words around 20 minutes, and there is task 2 where you have to write 240 minutes. Remember, these are mandatory that you follow the minimum words, which is 150 for the task 1 and 250 for the task 2. Very often students ask, does the teacher count the words? Because this is the criteria. And also they ask how many words more we can add in the writing. Generally, it is 10%. So for 150 words, you can write at least 165 or more. For 250 words, you can write 275 or more. Okay, though I have seen in many occasions teachers always consider good writing even though it has got more words. All right, let's listen to the
Meet Yo Ching. He is preparing for the IELTS writing test. He knows the basic requirements, but has taken the IELTS writing test before and not achieved the score he wanted. He realizes he has been doing some things in IELTS writing task 1 that don't work. Yo Ching reflects on his study process. In the past, he has tried to describe every number on charts and graphs. He realizes he should have identified 2 to 3 main and significant points in each diagram and described these. He has also copied words from the exam question or from the titles of illustrations. This resulted in lower marks. In addition, he has used too many linking words or phrases just because he knows them. He realizes he needs a new plan for success in Ielts Writing Task 1. Yo Ching looks in on his friend Kai Sheng to find out how she has been successful. First, Kai Sheng reads the instructions carefully to understand what is required to fully complete the question. It is dangerous to rush answers before understanding the task first, so Kai Sheng takes her time doing this. Yo Ching watches as Kai Sheng looks at the information and begins reflecting on what she sees. First, she paraphrases the key words using different words. So for this question, she writes this. It is important to understand the information depicted, so Kai Sheng analyzes what she sees. Then she looks for the most significant trends in the diagram. She writes an overview of the information presented, telling Yo Ching that this is one of the keys for her high score. This can be included in either the introduction or conclusion, and will usually be a couple of sentences. After noticing points to be highlighted, she thinks about how she would describe them. She considers the grammatical tenses that are relevant. As this graph covers years in the past tense grammar is appropriate to talk about the information. As the graph also has future predictions, she will use future aspects in her writing too. Kai Sheng makes a few notes, planning and organizing her thoughts to arrange her paragraphs effectively before she begins to write her summary. As she continues to write, she separates her paragraphs clearly and uses themes for each paragraph. This allows her to explain her ideas fully. She uses a variety of verbs and adjectives when describing the information in order to show a range of vocabulary. One of her favorite tools is to make notes on a line showing a variety of words to use to describe degrees of change for her essay. Yo Ching has learned a lot by watching Kai Sheng's process. Yo Ching practices this process many times for himself. Now Yo Ching finds himself ready to take the Ielts exam again, this time with confidence in a good process. He has also taken time to watch the British Council's other Ielts writing videos. He retakes the Ielts test and achieves his target score. If you follow the do's and don'ts for the Ielts Task 1 writing, you can increase your chance of a higher score, just like Yo Ching. The world speaks Ielts.
Okay, so that's another part. Let's move on to the next part. All right, Fahad, you can talk a little. That in that case, Fahad, I suggest you can book, one in one lesson, or you can join in my Insta class. So when you go to the Insta class, you can see that my photo, you touch on it, that it will be connected to me. So those classes for one in one class for an hour, you have to, the fee is here and $15 for an hour. For the Insta class, it is $5 for 20 minutes. So it's after you, the way you like to go on. Okay, so next one is task 2, power writing. So power means planning.
You want to crack IELTS Task 2 writing? You need to follow the Power Writing Plan. This is planning for your writing based on analysis of the question,
Planning,
organizing your ideas
organizing,
ahead of writing, writing itself, evaluating what you have written,
revising.
revising and refining what you have written, addressing
Revise.
errors. The first step is to plan. This must be on the basis of the full question. Do not get distracted by specific words in the question. As a result, many test takers see a key topic word and then write an answer, but fail to answer the question fully. You must analyze the full question, identify the different parts to the question, clarify the specific topic, and understand the complete requirements in the question. Can you afford the time to plan your essay? You cannot afford not to plan. Firstly, it is vital you analyze the question and ensure your answer addresses the question completely. Secondly, it is better to separate tasks of idea generation and writing. It's difficult to do this at the same time. Finally, spending a little time planning at the beginning can save you time when writing and crucially addresses all the IELTS assessment criteria, so you will be more efficient and more effective. Next, you will want to identify all the key words. Underlining or circling these in the question can help focus your mind on what you need to write about. Then think of synonyms for these key words. For example, you can use these synonyms throughout your essay. This helps you demonstrate the range of your vocabulary. Then brainstorm possible ideas for all aspects of the question. You must decide your position in relation to the task. For example, you may agree, disagree, or sit on the fence. For the same exam question, you might have these ideas. Alternative forms of transport should be encouraged. Agree. Alternative transport. More cars equals more pollution and traffic congestion, therefore unhealthy and inefficient cities. Public transport. More efficient and environmentally friendly. For example, subway and metro and public bus high use, therefore specialist lanes. International laws introduced to control car ownership and use. Disagree. Control. Restrict personal freedom and choice. International laws. Car and oil industry will strongly object versus powerful industries, so little chance of this. Conclusion? In principle, agree. Alternative transport possible. Control and international laws difficult. That is the planning stage. Then move to organize. Here you need to select and organize your ideas. Break them into separate paragraphs and then be ready to expand the ideas. Aim for an idea, explain, example approach. The idea introduction will effectively be your topic sentence. Then also think about the linking between sentences and paragraphs. Here you are addressing the coherence and cohesion criteria of IELTS writing. Now you are ready to write. Pay attention to your plan and roughly how much you have written. Remember, there is a 250-word requirement for IELTS Task 2. When you finish writing, you need to evaluate. Be sure you have answered all parts of the question. This is critical to the task response criteria of IELTS writing. If you realize you have not addressed all parts of the question, you may need to add more. Finally, you are ready to edit and revise the essay. Look through your writing for possible spelling and grammar errors you might have made. We all make these. Doing this is critical to the grammar criteria of IELTS writing. This should then be the 5 stages of writing: planning, organizing, writing, evaluating, revising and refining. If you follow the 5 stages for power writing, you will have a better chance of cracking the IELTS Task 2 writing. Look out for other videos on IELTS speaking, writing, listening, and reading. Good luck with IELTS.
Okay, guys, so that's the listening, reading, and writing parts are covered today. We'll cover more next week, speaking part and other parts as well. So before that, I like to show you some techniques today for the speaking part. And Fahad, I understand that you read well, but you don't understand the meaning. Uh, it will be difficult for you if you don't understand whatever you read, because by chatting here will not help you understand your speaking. Okay, you need to read a lot. You need to know the meaning of a word and how you can use this word correctly. Okay, there is no private chat here, unfortunately, Fahad. You have to chat through the subscriber chat, as you have to subscribe only for 2 lessons freely. Remember that after this time, you'll be automatically removed by the system. This is how it works. And this is how the system here. But if you subscribe to me for a month with the $16, then you'll be there for a whole month and you can ask me as many questions as you like. But that's the restriction for the free subscriber. Only 2 lessons for a week, and after 1 week you will be removed automatically and you will not be able to send me any message at all unless you connect to me through the 1-in-1 lesson or Instaclass, which are the newest features of the Hallo app. Okay, and remember that the best way to okay, that's me. The best way to develop your speaking is by speaking to another person. The more you speak, the more you'll be confident. You'll feel motivated by yourself. You'll feel inspired. You'll feel energized. Remember that at the end of the day, it's you who have to practice. Being a teacher from England or any other American teacher who can give you suggestions, guidelines, lessons, but you have to practice it. If you don't practice it, there is no way you can develop. There is no way you can take your English language level from this to this slowly. Remember, we don't go quickly, we move slowly from the stage where you are. That's why we need to practice regularly. You need to find out a teacher, maybe speaking partner, maybe another fellow-minded people who can help you. Once again, practice is the key factor. If you don't practice, there is no way you can develop. Okay, so Fahad, that is the answer of your last question. What should I do to learn in principle in a private chat? And you can't have a private chat. Once again, I said to you, you have to take the lesson. Okay, and I'm going to show you some more information in IELTS exam. Hang on a second. I'm going to share my screen so that you know what you're expecting. So in the speaking part, which will be covered next week, because today, this Saturday, Sunday's lessons are finished, there are 4 criteria where you'll be assessed for speaking. Number 1, fluency and coherence. You will get 25%. Number 2 is lexical resources, which is like vocabulary. I'll explain in a moment. Then number 3 is grammatical range and accuracy, 25%. Number 4, pronunciation. You must have noticed that there is no marking for having accent. Accent is really not important, but pronunciation is. Okay, so in order to develop pronunciation, I'll go with pronunciation first. It is very important how the words are sounded, how the letters are produced. Okay, it is not easy though sometimes, especially when it is a homophones or minimum pairs, we call it. Okay, so homophones are those words which sound same but has got different meaning depending on the stress. I gave example in my previous lesson, like one of them is like address. I'm going to explain to you again. Yeah? For example, address, it can be used as a noun or can be used as a verb. Now, if it is a noun, we stress on the first part or first syllable, like address. Okay, address. We stress on higher intonation to lower intonation. Address. So address. But if it is used as verb, then we stress on the second syllable. So it is down intonation to upper intonation. So address. So you need to be careful when you're pronouncing, because depending on their tone or presentation, your listener will be able to understand whether you have used as a noun or verb. Okay, it is very important for you to understand how the tone, how the pronunciation works. Whenever we speak like a rhythm. We don't speak like a robot. Okay, we don't speak like a mechanical machine when the tone is monotone, like some movies you can say the robot speaks like that. Yeah, like my T20 robot from 13th century. What's your name? Look, this is called monotone, where the rhythm goes same, flat. But as a human being, we have got feelings, we have got expressions, we have got emotions. We always try to show them during our conversation, and it is very important for us, to show our expressions when you're talking, because we're humans once again. So follow these techniques, guys, and I'm sure that you'll be an amazing speaker. Remember, practice is the key factor. However, I'm going to finish this lesson because it's nearly 9 o'clock and the lesson is going to be ended as well. I'll be conducting public live stream soon. You can join that time. All of my subscribers, all the viewers, you can come and comment as well. But this is a private lesson. You can't come and comment here, except who are my subscribers, like Fahad is my subscriber. And there are a few other subscribers who didn't join. Sorry, even subscribers do not join. As a teacher, I have to conduct the lessons so that they can watch it later. So once again, guys, thank you very much for watching. And before I end up this, the class ends up. So let me share you what is called fluency and coherence. Fluency is the technique when you talk about any topic without giving a pause, without stopping, without being repetitive, not too fast, not too slow, with a rhythm, medium speed, so that anyone and everyone can understand and hear your voice. Remember, when you're speaking, you must speak loudly, clearly, so that the other person or your listeners, once again, our audience can understand. And coherence means it is the organizing of your idea and sequencing one by one, step by step. So when you describe a topic, definitely you'll be describing one sentence after another, linking to a previous sentence. And this is called coherence. An easy example is that, say, you have been asked to describe global warming. Now, the coherence would be you have to first define what is global warming. And secondly, you have to say uh, how it has impacted the human life. Okay. And thirdly, you can say how it has impacted or affected our environment. Okay. Then you can give the possible solutions. So these are the steps, and it is called coherence. Okay, which is very important when you're describing. And another way, when you're describing a topic, you can follow these three techniques: introduction, body, and conclusion. It means that in the introduction part, you'll give an overview and your opinion. In the body part, you'll describe the reasons, causes, effects, and possible solutions. And the last part, conclusion, you can always add your thoughts, your recommendation, your suggestion, and possibly your advice. Okay, remember that you can use this word disclaimer. These are my opinions. Okay, we use this word disclaimer. Disclaimer, this is my opinion. So it doesn't matter whatever your opinion is, because I'm expressing whatever I think. But remember, when you are speaking, when you are just adding your ideas, there are some limitations of your concepts. There are some boundaries of expression, and you have to follow it. The meaning of limitation and boundaries is that, when you're explaining something, it should be within the topic, not beyond the topic. All right. So you'll contact me later. Yes, I've been teaching more than 2 years on this app and also outside. I was teaching earlier. Certainly take time. Remember, you can join me always. I'm going to conduct a public live stream after 15 minutes. You can always join. Everyone is invited to join. All right, and thank you very much, guys. Remember that the more you practice, once again, you'll be confident. Give some time for yourself to develop. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, it doesn't matter. Practice every day on a regular basis, consistently, persistently. Make a plan, and focus on it, and go through. I can guarantee you, you'll be developing soon. Remember that if I can speak, you can speak too, because we are humans. English is not my first language, it's my second language. Okay, so best of luck for all of you for learning and development, and join my lessons after a while. All of you are invited. Thank you very much once again for listening to me and being here. I'll see you soon.